Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the Launchpad and our live launch coverage of SpaceX Starlink 12-23 set to launch from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad Network, and here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. We know we got people tuning in from all over the world, so take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We'll do some shout outs, and while you do so, also take a moment and engage that like button. We got Kumar watching from India, Paul's in South Carolina, we got Patricia in St. Louis, we got Denise in California, Kevin's in Southwest Australia, Robert's in Ohio, Forgotten Countries in Dallas, Fort Worth. We got Bob watching from Vancouver Island, close to Washington, and Princess is in Canada. It's great to see you all joining us live here tonight. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share out the stream, and invite people to join us. We've been, of course, monitoring the weather conditions. We're in that fun summer season where that's something we watch a little bit more closely as we count down to each of these more late afternoon and evening launches. Today's Falcon 9 booster is booster 1077, going for its 20th flight on a 40-day turnaround after previously supporting Crew 5, GPS Space Vehicle 6, Amarasat I-6F2, CRS-28, Intelsat G37, NG-20, TD-7, and 12 previous Starlink missions. SpaceX's drone ship of Just Read the Instructions is stationed downrange in the Atlantic Ocean, ready to recover today's booster. On board today, we've got 23 Starlink V2 minis, of which 13, are the direct-to-cell capable satellites as SpaceX continues to expand both its direct-to-cell and regular Starlink constellations in low Earth orbit. Now, SpaceX did have backup opportunities all until the time of 1:49 a.m. Eastern in the morning tonight, but they are locked in for a launch attempt here, and we are waiting for them to begin their live coverage. And the moment that they do, we will, of course, patch them in so you guys can see a live view of the pad and listen in to SpaceX Mission Control as we count down those final minutes of the flight. Now, as usual, SpaceX no longer provides a live coverage of the deployment of Starlink, so you'll make sure you stay tuned to their social media for updates on that. If you haven't yet, though, we just dropped 2 brand new videos on the channel. We have our pre-launch preview, weekly pre-launch preview that just dropped here on the main channel, so definitely go check that out. Our brand new editor, Travis, worked really hard on it. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. It's a new thing that we're trying out, doing a weekly pre-launch preview for you guys, so definitely check that out. Let us know your feedback in the comments. Then head over to the Launchpad TLP Space News channel. We have that linked as well down below. And we just dropped our first episode of the TLP Space News Weekly, which is going to be a weekly recap of some of the biggest stories in space news and a look back at what launched in the previous week. So as we continue to expand our coverage across both of our channels, make sure you've engaged that subscribe button on both so you never miss another live launch coverage or space news update, because we do believe that space is better together. We got lots of people tuning in from all over the world. Beverly is in Arkansas. We've got Byron in Oregon. Chris is in Greenville, South Carolina. We got Jay in Boca Chica, Texas. We've got Grandma in South Carolina. Lila's Adventures in Melbourne, Australia. We got Georgia, Wisconsin, Ontario, Canada, St. John's. Lots of people tuning in from all over the world, and we're glad to have you joining us here. You are looking at a live view now at T-minus 4 minutes, 40 seconds and counting till launch. We'll just sync our T0 with SpaceX's here. Now, as always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad. We'll work on answering those live while we continue through today's countdown. Now, we do have SpaceX Mission Control patched in as we're listening in for those updates as they go through the final minutes of today's count. I'll take over the count commentary once we have a liftoff. At this time, we're waiting for those final callouts of propellant load on the first and second stage. At T-minus 1 minute, that is when Falcon 9 will take over the count and begin to pressurize its tanks to flight levels. At T-minus 45 seconds, we will have that final go for launch from the SpaceX launch director, and then ignition and liftoff. As always, if you guys happen to be in the Space Coast area for today's launch and get photos or videos of today's launch, make sure you send them to us over on Discord or to our X at TLPN_official. See some people jumping the gun on those guesses for today's first stage booster apogee. We got 3 minutes and counting, so we can start those off. Why not? We always have a little bit of fun on what do you think tonight's apogee will be of the first stage. Apogee is the highest point in flight that the first stage achieves. After it shuts down its engines, it coasts to a higher altitude as it bleeds off some of that speed before it begins its journey back down to Earth, conducting 2 more burns, but we'll dive into all of that as we get closer to that time in the flight. T-minus 2 minutes, 45 seconds and counting till launch. All things continuing to look good for tonight's flight. Weather, 90% go for liftoff down on the Space Coast.
Stage 1, lock look complete.
Great question coming in from David Smalls. Are we going to see some of this launch into the sky, into the southern Ontario, Canada region? Very unlikely for these. These launches generally stay over the Atlantic, either to the north or to the southern launch trajectory. But there is always a chance, depending on weather conditions, for it. I believe today was a southern launch trajectory. I'll have to double check that for you, though. So most likely not. So we come down T minus 90 seconds and counting till launch. We'll go full screen here on the view.
Closeouts.
You can hear there they are closing out the pad in preparation for flight.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Launch director, go for launch.
T-minus 30
And
seconds.
there was that call out of go for launch from the launch director. D minus 25 seconds and counting till liftoff.
T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. Go Starlink, go Falcon.
MOD propulsion is nominal. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
And we have liftoff of SpaceX Falcon 9 carrying 23 Starlinks to low Earth orbit. The first milestone in tonight's sequence of events during flight will be max Q. That is the moment of peak mechanical stress on the vehicle. We're expecting that in about 30 seconds from now. Falcon 9 now traveling over 850 kilometers an hour, passing through 5 kilometers in altitude.
Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q. MVAC in-flight chill.
And there was that call for max Q, that moment of peak mechanical stress. Falcon 9 continuing on its flight. We have beginning with MECO, or first stage main engine cutoff. That sequence of events expected to begin at T plus 2 minutes 25 seconds. Immediately followed by first and second stage separation, MVAC engine start, or SES1, grid fin deploy, and then about 20 seconds later, we will have fairing deployment. We're about 20 seconds away from that sequence beginning. Let's listen in to the callouts on the control net.
And MECO. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition. And MVAC propulsion is nominal. Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we have confirmation of that sequence of events. The first stage now continuing to its apogee. That's that highest point in its flight. Let's see those guesses in the chat on what you think that altitude will be today. Falcon 9 second stage now passing 119 kilometers in altitude, traveling at over 9,200 kilometers an hour in speed, and continuing under power there. Now, the Falcon 9 first stage will conduct 2 more burns as it begins its journey back down to the drone ship. Just read the instructions. First, the entry burn will begin 6 minutes, 2 seconds into flight, lasting 25 seconds tonight. Then we'll have the landing burn at 7 minutes, 42 seconds into flight, lasting about 25 seconds as it touches down on the drone ship. Now, as always, during this period of time, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad. We'll work on answering those live. Just make sure you do that tag there. And again, if you're just joining us, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad Network. Here at TLP, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow because we believe that space is better together. If you haven't yet, take a moment, make sure you engage that subscribe button here on our main channel where we bring you full live launch coverage of all the launches from around the world. And then on our second channel, TLP Space News, that's where we bring you our weekly space news update. We just launched the first one this morning, so definitely take some time and check that out, along with this week's weekly pre-launch preview right here on the main channel. T plus 5 minutes into flights, things continuing to look nominal on the flight. Hunter Owen didn't know there was a launch tonight, but heard a loud rumble outside, threw on my shoes and ran back to see the rocket. I live in Cocoa Beach, Florida. That is awesome, Hunter. It's a cool thing living on the Space Coast and getting to experience that. I once slept through my alarms, and turns out Falcon 9 is a really good alarm clock, too. So that's awesome to have. As Ash Nicole says, don't forget to like the stream. It really does help us out. We appreciate it. And we got confirmation of 114 as today's apogee. Falcon 9's first stage coming down, getting ready to conduct that entry burn. The second stage now traveling over 13,500 kilometers an hour, past over 152 kilometers in altitude. Stand by for entry burn.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Stage 1 entry burn startup. Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
That entry burn now complete. Falcon 9 now using just the size of its body and the thickness of the atmosphere to slow down in preparation for its landing burn before touching down on the drone ship. Just read the instructions. Now, as I said earlier, SpaceX no longer provides live coverage of deployment of Starlinks. Once we have confirmation of SECO 1 at 8 minutes 39 seconds into flight, the second stage will enter a coast phase until 54 minutes 2 seconds, where it'll reignite that MVAC engine for 2 seconds to finalize it into its deployment orbit. At 1 hour, 5 minutes, 11 seconds into flight, SpaceX will deploy the 23 Starlink V2 minis, including the 13 direct-to-cell capable satellites, into low Earth orbit. They will confirm that via their social media, but we'll be staying with you through first stage landing and confirmation of second stage deployment. It is a incredibly busy week in spaceflight. If you want to stay up to date with the latest on the launch schedule, head over to tlpnetwork.com, click on the launch button. You can stay up to date there and also know if missions are a placeholder or if they're a confirmed launch time. We have a launch of Starlink 11-9 from Vandenberg tomorrow, as well as another launch from Cape Canaveral of the Project Kuiper satellites. China's also set to launch a group of satellites into their internet constellation through the evening. We'll try to have confirmation of that via our social media. Unfortunately, we won't have live coverage of that, but definitely head over to tlpnetwork.com, click on the launch button, stay up to date with the latest of the launch schedule around the world. Falcon 9 now coming down to the drone ship. Just read the instructions. And we have touchdown. Falcon 9 now completing its 20th ascent and descent, carrying those 23 Starlink satellites in the second stage on their journey to low Earth orbit. Standing by for confirmation of SECO 1. That's when that MVAC engine on your screen will cut off and go into that coast phase. But with that, that is going to wrap up our live launch coverage for today. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that subscribe button, and join us over in the Discord. That's where our community hangs out in between streams, and we would love to see you there. There's that confirmation of Seco 1. If you're interested in becoming part of the TLP crew as a moderator, host, or space news journalist, take a moment and do !apply in the chat. Our applications are open. We're excited to be interviewing many of you as we continue to grow our team and expand our coverage for all of you around the world. With that, we are going to wrap up our live coverage of SpaceX Starlink 12-23 that just launched from Cape Canaveral in Florida. We hope to see you next time back here on the launch pad because space is better together. Good night.